On a typical day, unfolding amidst my mundane routine, I found myself seated on the sofa, enveloped by the faint light streaming through the partially drawn curtains, indulging in the random videos filling the tablet screen. My mind wandered through scattered thoughts as the voices of YouTubers echoed throughout the room, creating a fleeting illusion of companionship. Yet, even immersed in the virtual reality, something in the atmosphere felt amiss, a subtle discrepancy eluding my conscious perception. It was then, in a fleeting flash, that an indistinct shadow caught my attention, stealthily gliding past the corner of my eye. Instinctively, I turned my head towards the kitchen, where the dishwasher lay dormant. The silhouette, despite its elusive nature, left an indelible mark on my mind, evoking a sense of unease that prompted me to question reality itself. After all, there was no one else at home besides me, and the notion of a hidden presence in the shadows was enough to unleash an avalanche of fear and doubt. The enveloping silence of the house became oppressive, weighing on my shoulders like a blanket of desolation. As the videos continued to echo on the tablet, their voices became indistinct, fading into the void that stretched out before me. I was alone, completely at the mercy of that inexplicable sensation that rooted itself in my core. Minutes dragged on like hours, each tick of the clock becoming a distressing reminder of the loneliness that surrounded me. My thoughts turned to my grandmother and brother, who had left the house moments earlier. The longing for their comforting presence grew within me, an anchor against the storm of fear rising around me. However, even as my mind yearned for company, a part of me resisted. Solitude was not just a circumstance but a deliberate choice. I sought refuge in solitude, finding comfort in the familiar walls of the empty house. But now, that same solitude turned into a looming specter, feeding the fears growing within me. Every slightest sound echoed like a scream in the night, making me question the reality around me. Every shadow became a potential threat, a prelude to the terror I knew was lurking in the dark corners of the house. The mind is a cruel ally when given to fear, and mine was in turmoil, dancing on the brink of the abyss of paranoia. I tried to cling to rationality, to the cold logic that used to guide my thoughts. But even it was slipping through my fingers, unable to provide answers to the questions haunting my mind. The silhouette in the kitchen was just the beginning of a journey into the unknown, where each step forward took me further from the safety I had known. A sinister shiver ran down my spine as I caught sight of the silhouette emerging from the patio. The figure seemed to contort unnaturally in the sunlight, twisting into shadows that danced upon the walls. Its movements were fluid and unsettling, as if it were searching for something or someone. Watching it through the window, I felt a chill run through my entire body, as if I were facing something beyond human comprehension. The silhouette was dark and indistinct, its contours seeming to meld with the surroundings. I tried to discern any feature that could identify it, but all I saw was a shapeless mass of shadows and darkness. Fear began to grip me, whispering doubts and insecurities into my already confused mind. My eyes remained fixed on the mysterious figure, following each movement with a mixture of fascination and terror. Every step it took seemed to echo into the void, as if it were approaching with supernatural determination. The sensation of being watched made my heart race as I found myself entangled in a nightmare that seemed to have no end. A sudden crash echoed throughout the house, breaking the sepulchral silence that surrounded it. The metallic sound reverberated off the walls like a muffled scream in the night. It couldn't be ignored. My muscles tensed, my heart raced uncontrollably. Each beat felt like a drum signaling imminent danger. However, curiosity, mixed with a healthy dose of fear, propelled me towards the kitchen. My steps were hesitant, as if an invisible force pulled me back, warning me not to proceed. Yet, the need to understand what was happening was stronger. As I reached the entrance of the kitchen, a shiver ran down my spine, freezing me in place. The door was ajar, swinging gently as if a cold wind blew from within. With trembling hands, I pushed the door cautiously, revealing the dark and gloomy interior of the kitchen. The familiar scent of detergent and fabric softener mingled with a growing sense of unease. The dim light in the room flickered intermittently, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. My eyes fixated on the floor, where shards of glass sparkled like fallen stars. A sharp chill ran through my body as I realized what lay before me. All the glasses were scattered on the floor, some shattered, others intact, but all out of place. The sight was disturbing, as if the very order of things had been challenged by an unknown force. My stomach churned with nausea as I tried to process what I was witnessing. The kitchen, once a sanctuary of cleanliness and organization, had turned into a scene of chaos and disorder. A scream lodged in my throat threatened to escape, but I swallowed it down with difficulty. The sensation of fear and helplessness was overwhelming, threatening to consume me entirely. Yet, a question persisted in my mind, poking at the surface of my terror like an insidious splinter. What could have caused this? Upon entering the kitchen, I was greeted by a sight that defied all logic and reason. The glasses were scattered on the floor as if they had been forcefully thrown by invisible hands. The pale light streaming in through the window highlighted the shiny glass fragments, creating a sinister and unsettling scene. My eyes scanned the room, searching for any signs of invasion or human presence, but there was nothing but the silence echoing in my ears. Fear morphed into a rising wave of panic as my mind tried to process the impossibility of the situation. How could the glasses fly on their own and shatter on the floor? A sense of vulnerability washed over me, causing me to question my own sanity. Every shadow in the corner of the room seemed to writhe and take on a life of its own, feeding my deepest fears. I tried in vain to find a rational explanation for what I was witnessing, but all theories seemed to crumble in the face of the concrete evidence before my eyes. The air was thick with a heavy, oppressive energy, as if the very environment itself was alive and conspiring against me. My heart pounded in my chest as a sense of imminent danger settled in my mind. The need to escape from that nightmare became irresistible, and without hesitation, I turned on my heels and ran back to the relative comfort of my room. My legs trembled as I locked the door behind me, desperately seeking refuge against the unknown forces that inhabited my home. Yet, the mystery persisted, enveloping me in a veil of terror and uncertainty that seemed to have no end. With my heart pounding in my chest and my legs trembling, I ran in desperation down the hallway until I reached my room. Each step echoed in the emptiness of the house, amplifying my sense of vulnerability. Upon reaching the door to my room, my hand trembled as I attempted to fit the key into the lock. The final click of the latch was like a temporary relief, but fear still pulsed through my veins. Inside the room, the semi-darkness cast shadows that danced on the walls, feeding my imagination with grotesque shapes. The silence was deafening, filled only by the muffled sound of my rapid breathing. I collapsed onto the bed, cold sweat covering my forehead, as I desperately tried to rationalize what had happened. Every unusual noise, every subtle sound, was interpreted as an imminent sign of danger. My thoughts wandered through mazes of paranoia, trying to find a plausible explanation for the inexplicable. Time seemed to slow down, prolonging the agony of being trapped in a nightmare from which I couldn't wake up. The pale light of the afternoon began to fade through the cracks of the window, plunging the room into growing dimness. Darkness became my ally, offering a veil of protection against the unknown outside. But even with the curtains drawn and the doors locked, I couldn't escape the terror that rooted itself in my mind. Every ominous scratch on the door, every hissing sigh echoing down the hallway, made me retreat further into the depths of the room. I was trapped in a labyrinth of fear, with no apparent way out, while the mystery of the silhouette in the kitchen continued to haunt my thoughts. Whatever was out there, I knew I couldn't face it alone. And so, huddled in a dark corner of my sanctuary, I waited for the dawn of a new day, hoping that light could dispel the shadows that haunted me. The hours dragged on like heavy chains as I remained cloistered in my room, trying to find some rational explanation for the inexplicable events I had witnessed in the kitchen. Every creak of the house, every subtle sound echoed like a chilling reminder of the previous events. My mind plunged into a whirlwind of thoughts and conjectures, but none of them could dissipate the veil of mystery that hung over me. I knew I couldn't stay locked in the room indefinitely, but the idea of facing the unknown outside was almost unbearable. Whatever had invaded my home, whatever had caused the chaos in the kitchen, was still out there, waiting silently, ready to manifest again at any moment. Minutes turned into hours, and fear turned into exhaustion. My mind was foggy, my body tense from lack of sleep and accumulated tension. Every sound outside my door was a potential threat, a promise of more terror and uncertainty. I knew I needed to gather the courage to face whatever was out there, but every fiber of my being resisted the idea of leaving the relative safety of my room. Finally, as the first rays of sunlight began to penetrate through the cracks in the window, I made a decision. With my heart pounding uncontrollably in my chest, I opened the door to the room and took a hesitant step into the silent hallway. Every sound, every shadow, seemed more menacing than ever, but I pressed on, determined to confront the mystery head-on. As I reached the kitchen, I was greeted by a surreal sight. All the glasses were meticulously arranged, lined up as if nothing had happened. The floor was spotlessly clean, with no traces of the chaos from the previous night. A sense of bewilderment and relief mixed within me as I tried to process what lay before my eyes. But even with the apparent normalcy of the scene, the mystery persisted. Whatever had happened that night, whatever that silhouette in the kitchen had been, remained unexplained. And as I struggled to make sense of the events from the previous night, one thing became clear: it wouldn't be easily forgotten. The memory of that night would haunt my dreams and linger with me for a long time, a constant reminder of the fragility of reality and the ever-present presence of the unknown. We have reached the end of the story. If you liked it, please share and leave a like. For every comment, I will respond with my heart. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to watch new chilling stories. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.